Hey everybody, we have an awesome lesson for you today. We're going to talk about how to identify your target in a group. Now, this is really important if you're in sales because you're not always going to have a situation where you meet somebody who's your ideal target, your target market, somebody you really want to work with one-on-one. But how to identify and extract them out of a group. And this is, for a lot of people, is really difficult. Not because doing it is difficult, it's because nobody ever taught us. I never was taught how to do that. We were always taught that to make the sale, you need that one-on-one situation. But it's totally not true. Now, in the community, we had a term for this. It was called group theory. And the idea behind it is people act differently in a one-on-one situation than they do in a group situation. In a one-on-one situation, it's kind of like hand-to-hand combat. You're going to have somebody that's just reacting to you and literally feeding off everything you do. At the same time, they're going to be responding to you based on social training that they've received on how to deal with low value salespeople. In short, they're going to have a default position of trying to give you objections and say no to you and treat you like somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing, somebody who's really low value. Now, in a group situation, it's totally different. People don't respond that way. People want social value. Their own social value will be set by the behavior of other people. What do I mean by that? Well, people are going to respond to you how the group responds to you. If you're talking to somebody and there's 5 people there and one person's not saying anything and they're just watching the other 4, they're going to see how the other 4 people respond and they're going to go with the consensus because people don't like being an outlier. If all 4 people say, I really don't like this guy, the 5th person's not going to jump in and say, well, I really do, because they're going to risk being ostracized and looking stupid and being embarrassed by doing something that's socially unacceptable. Now, in the community, we face this all the time. The girl that we would have as our target more times than not would be in a group. So being able to identify that target, get that girl interested in us, and starting a conversation with her without resistance was really, really crucial. Now, a lot of times this would happen if a guy didn't know any better. He'd go up to a group of girls and he'd say, oh, that one on the left, that's the one I'm interested in. He'd focus all his energy on her, and her friends see that and sees, wow, this guy's totally going to be going after my friend. They would immediately intervene and stop it from happening. And one of them, almost every single time, was what we called a shield, meaning she would get in the middle and she would just totally lay the guy out. Would be really direct, would be totally rude, and would make sure that that guy wanted no part of that group ever again. Now, for us in the community, we never did that because we don't want to have that reaction. We know that's how it operates in that group setting. In the community, when we had a group and we had a target, we would want to identify the girl. We talk about this in another lesson. We would take a more indirect approach and we talk to everybody in the group except for her. And we wouldn't be talking to them with the eye of trying to get her number or trying to advance a conversation romantically or anything like that. We're just out having fun and doing our thing. And what happens is you would get 4 of those people. We're going to talk to the 4 people that are not our target, and we would get them to really enjoy their time with us. So the 5th person, who's our target, would feel like they need to jump into the conversation and initiate contact with me. Well, they have the tacit approval of their friends, and so they always can do that. And at that point, we shift over to her, and we can have a conversation with her because her friends aren't threatened by us. So when we actually shift over, it's natural for us to have a conversation with the one person we haven't talked to, but they don't think we're interested in her, so they're not going to get in the way. And now you have that one girl we're interested in initiating a conversation with us, and none of their friends intervene. It's pretty awesome. And that's how it works with group theory. Now, in sales, it's no different. You could be at a networking event and you could be talking to 5 people, but they're probably not going to be as defensive. So you're probably not going to have somebody jump in and keep you from talking to person D over there. But you're going to have people who really don't know how to respond to you. And if you're in a job where people have a massive preconception of what you do and they don't like it, it could be insurance, it could be product distributorship, financial planning, it could be telemarketing, it could be any number of things on there. Their initial response is probably going to be very different than what they do in the group. Their initial response, if you're taking a direct approach, is to say no to you. That's what they do. It's what they do with everybody else. But in a group, they don't know what the other people are thinking. So your target, more times than not, is going to be the one person who doesn't jump into that group conversation. They're going to be the one that lays back. So the idea is you're going to want to develop that conversation with most of the group, but pay attention who's laying back in the conversation. And when that group gives you the tacit approval that they enjoy you as part of their group, and they really have fun, and they like you, you're going to see the target. If somebody is genuinely interested in, they're going to wait and see what the group's approval is. And when that person jumps in late to initiate a conversation with you, you now have your target identified. And this person, again, like the girl we talked about before, is reaching out to talk to you one-on-one. But now they have social proof that you're high value and that you're someone to be trusted and someone that they want to have a part of their group. And that is an indispensable advantage you have. And it's the number one way to pluck a target out of a group. You don't have to go one-on-one. You don't have to hand out business cards. You don't have to be direct with 5 people, but you're letting the target smoke themselves out. And then at that point, they're coming in with an indicator of interest, and you get to do the same thing you did with the other ones. So they're not really on the defensive, and you automatically have a major leg up compared to everybody that you do business with who's in the same type of role that you are. And you do it through a concept in the community we call group theory.